We'll talk about that in a moment, but I want to go to the callers. And again, our question this hour is about your TIFF stories, whether you are in the industry and the significance of that event for you, and whether or not something important happened during TIFF, and whether you kind of had a close encounter that stays with you today. 1-888-817-8995. That is our phone number. Christian is on the line in Toronto. Christian, go ahead. Tell us your TIFF story.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
Very good.
So this is my first year attending TIFF ever, and it's actually, interestingly, I was on your show a few weeks ago talking about theater etiquette, and I had no clue I was going to TIFF at that moment. So this is actually my first year going as a press member, and I have to say, everyone is extremely welcoming. It's a very overwhelming experience when you first go. It's also my first film festival, so there's a lot of firsts all happening at once, but the staff and the volunteers are just out of this world amazing. Like, I feel like there's never enough appreciation for the staff. Nothing will ever be enough, but also just going as a newbie, everyone's so welcoming and helpful. The stars are there, the directors are there, and my first night, Richard Linklater came about his film Nouvelle Vague, which already premiered at Cannes, but he was just as excited to be in Toronto. And I think the best part is because it's TIFF 50, all of these filmmakers are really sharing their stories about coming to TIFF. So my first night, I had Richard Linklater talking about, his first time coming to TIFF so many years ago for one of his films. And then my second night, I had a new Serbian filmmaker who, this is his first feature film called Our Father. So really, TIFF is just the universal experience of new filmmakers, classic filmmakers, new press members, old press members. It really is just fantastic. And it's not perfect. I think the ticketing system is really bad, but there's still so much richness of experiences that you can really get from this.
Christian, I remember you have an online publication. Is that right?
Yes, I do. Watcher of all things. Yes.
You are also very young, if I remember.
Yes, I'm 25.
25. And so I wonder about what you think of the ecosystem that's there. You live in Toronto and this is your first TIFF. So what is your experience of just being in that space? Is it really transformative? Like, what's your sense about being there?
Well, I have to say, I come from a small town outside of Ottawa called Carleton Place, and I actually moved to Toronto 2 weeks before TIFF. So life has been kind of like revolutionary and huge changes in the last few weeks. But being just on site and seeing all these people who are excited to engage with art and find a community really just does feel amazing. And it's one of those rare things in life, and it's why we go to the movies, like I said last time on your show, is to feel like you are a part of something that's bigger than yourself, and you are connecting to other people who want to make sense of things that maybe don't happen in their life or things that have happened in their life. And the TIFF is one of those great 2-week stretches or 10-day stretches where you can go and live all of these mini lives for 2 hours every day or multiple times per day, like many reviewers do. And it's really just an amazing ecosystem to be within. It doesn't feel really snobby or elite like some people might think. It is really people from all walks of life who just want to go and experience film and what film has to offer for the future.
Last question. I wonder, you mentioned that you've had a chance to do some interviews now, and I wonder about whether, your sense seeing famous people up close. Have you had kind of an observation about that?
Well, I have to say it is interesting how you get these varied reactions from these stars or the filmmakers or whoever is on stage, because sometimes it is producers. My first 2 times were really great. The Richard Linklater, he was so great in his Q&A, and then the second night I asked a question at the Q&A for Goyan Stankovic, and it's just really awesome how excited he was, because it was only the second time screening his film. And then last night I had a really disappointing experience with Vince Vaughn, Simon Rex, and Nick Pizzolatto, who created the show True Detective. And I mean, the film wasn't great, so maybe they were a little bit let down by the final result, but their answers were really tired and measured and kind of just low effort. Like, it seems like they didn't really want to think about anything deep. And maybe the questions weren't that great, and maybe they were tired because, it is kind of a whirlwind experience. It was a world premiere, but it's interesting to get those ranges in celebrity sort of interactions where you get those maybe younger filmmakers who are so excited and fired up, and then you have sometimes the experienced filmmakers that almost seem like they couldn't really care less, or they're just there because they're there.
It's really interesting to hear from you. I wonder if, I want to wish you the best of luck with your publication. And thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Thank you so much for having me again. It was a pleasure.